On top of the raised platform, you'll see the hemispheric mount and washer. There's the mount and the washer that go over the opening where the motor axle comes up, and those are what the rotating or revolving platform sit on, and you want to make sure those are properly lubricated. And of course the structure, the main structure, and its legs and its base, all of which do not need painting on this one. What should look very familiar to you is the field. The armature look not only very similar, they are, I wouldn't say they're identical, but they will be hard to distinguish between the ones you see in the locomotives. The brush bracket assembly, which is right here, all of which have been cleaned and polished, and then the gearbox cavity, and we'll come back and talk about that in just a moment. And then of course the long screws that hold all this together by going through the field and the brush bracket assembly, new brushes that I'm going to put in the motor, springs which I'm going to repurpose. They were in good enough condition, I simply cleaned the grease off of them, and then the oil wick right there that goes in the back of the brush and bracket assembly. And of course, to hold all that together, on the field you'll find the brush caps. They're identical to the ones that you find on the locomotives. I have already tucked the wiring in because I want to get it out of the way, and the thing that I'm noticing is that we'll have to be protective of this cloth coated harness that is the wiring that goes to the electromagnet, and we don't want to be putting a lot of undue stress on that because in operation it has no stress on it, it just hangs freely. So we want to make sure, just like we do with the steam locomotives or any of the locomotives, to handle the field very gently because we don't want to break any of these single strand wires. Looks like A.C. Gilbert wrapped these in masking tape, a brown masking tape. The wires were in very good condition. I cleaned them a little bit and tucked them away. And we have the two button controller. I've already rewired it. The wiring was in pretty poor condition, so I've already put the appropriate colors back on in the position that I think A.C. Gilbert had them on. I took off the bottom plate, cleaned the inside thoroughly, including replacing the spring for the red button. I'll explain a little bit later why. Now, why I'm rebuilding this goes back to the symptoms that are very similar to the locomotives: inconsistent performance and response. It would stop voluntarily and not restart. That is the rotating platform of the boom. The gears grind excessively and cause excessive noise, and that's because, and something we're probably not going to be able to stop, although I'm going to properly lubricate this entire gear box, everything in it. But that noise is coming from this large gear right here, and I don't think we're going to be able to eliminate it, but I don't know that I want to because I kind of like a little bit of noise such that it sounds like a machine when it's moving back and forth or laterally. When it did stop, it would not change direction. It would not go back in the other direction. And I found also that the motor would run periodically without any rotating platform movement. So the motor was running quite nicely, but no movement was taking place, and I'll explain.